Hello, welcome back to the Mega Mirror Live. We've got a fantastic show for you tonight. On this edition of the Mega Mirror Live, we have with us one of the best debunkers in the community. His videos are entertaining and educational, and they are a pleasure to watch. He is also the man who made that guy disappear. A great guy and fellow shill, Blue Marble Science. I'm very excited to welcome him to the show tonight, so get your drinks and have a seat as we get ready to learn some science when we get back. And we're back. For those of you just joining us, we have with us a fantastic creator and a debunking hero, my friend and fellow shill, Blue Marble Science. So let's bring him on. Hi, Blue. Thanks for being here.
Hey, what's going on, Reason? I'll tell you, it's
Hey, man. Yeah, I've been a long time I've been wanting to get you on here. I'm really glad you could make it out.
Yeah, I'm so happy you guys invited me. I'm honored.
Well, we're pleased to have you. And for those of you who are new to the Mega Mirror, allow me to introduce my co-host, so to speak, Miss Amy Hogan. Amy, how are you?
I am doing great, thank you, and I'm so excited because this is going to be an excellent episode with Blue Marble Science. So I'm pretty excited. And if anybody has, thank you. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to @ me, and I will make sure that they get asked.
Fantastic. And of course, the man in the machine, the one who keeps us all ticking, Mr. Boolionator. How you doing, Bool?
I am doing great. I love doing these shows because I always learn something new about the creators we highlight.
Yeah, that's kind of why we do this, kind of get to know the people behind the videos and see what makes them tick. And for today, that's you, Blue. Awesome. So, like I said, really, really great to have you here. And I think maybe we'll just move on and get started with the first question for you. And it's the question I ask all my guests, and that is, what prompted you to start your own channel?
I actually have no good answer for that, and I have no idea how it happened. If truth be known, I was literally surfing the looking around on YouTube, really searching for woodworking videos, which I do like to catch some new content creators and look and see how they're doing things and one thing or the other. And for some reason, Cool Hard Logic popped up as a recommendation, and it seemed interesting, and I thought, well, I'll go watch that. And I did, and immediately, just power watched about 12 of his videos, and sat scratching my head, thinking, surely there can't be people that damn stupid out there, and I was wrong. There's a lot of people that stupid out there, and after watching some of it, I got aggravated and thought, same thing I think probably every new content creator thinks, it won't take me but a minute to sort this shit out. I'll fix this. I didn't know anything about how to YouTube or how to start a channel or anything like that. I just kind of threw something together. And from that point on, I have no idea what happened. It just, one thing led to another. I ran into Bob the Science Guy. And the very first video I did really was a collaboration with Bob on the Eratosthenes experiment.
Oh, Bob did. I remember that.
Yeah, that was my very first video. And Bob mirrored the thing. And that gained got a good bit of publicity. I think at that point, Bob had 6,000 or 7,000 subs or something. More than I've got now. But anyway, that's kind of how it went. This is it's a little bit addictive. At first you think you're going to sort them out, straighten them out, help them out, get them to understand things, and then you come to the realization that they don't want to learn, they don't want to know. You're not going to teach them anything. What you might be able to do, though, is catch some of the younger ones or older ones, for that matter, that are on the fence and really don't know what to think of all this stuff. And maybe you can change your mind or two somewhere along the line. Mostly it just turns into having fun, laughing at the fools.
Pretty much. I think that's pretty much the reason why most of us do it.
Yep.
But so you've been at this for what, about a year now, right?
Yeah, over a year and a half, close to a year and a half, I think.
Oh, wow. Cool. Has anything changed in that time since you first started?
No. They just get dumber by the day, it seems.
Yeah, you seem to have picked up a real fan in QE.
Yeah, he didn't like me very much.
No, I don't think so either.
We hear the same thing out of him time and time again. Well, everything they say is just recycled. They don't have anything new. It's starting to make it hard for to find content. So
that guy.
But all along, I've been a little more interested in not just the point and laugh aspect of it, but using it as sort of an opportunity to maybe do a little teaching. Not on a high level, because I can't teach on a high level, but I maybe can help people understand some of the nuances of the fundamentals of science that might be confusing to them. And I've got a little background in aviation, so I can talk about airplanes and things like that.
Exactly. Well, 2020 has been a pretty difficult year for all of us so far. Has it impacted your channel at all?
I can't say that it has. I don't think it has. It probably did in some way or the other that I'm not aware of. But
how are you coping with it?
It didn't really change anything at all for me, honestly.
No.
I'm retired, so I was here at the house anyway. Well,
I'm hoping to be in your shoes soon too.
Yeah, I'm perfectly happy as long as I can still get out the back door into the shop, so I can play with the woodworking stuff a little bit.
Yeah, it's true what they say. It's important to have a hobby when you retire.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, well, I think maybe what we should do is have a look at the first of the 3 videos I selected, and then we'll just see what the side chat has to say and bat around some questions. What do you think?
Fine by me.
Okay, cool. Well, Boole, can you cue up the first video? This one's one of my favorites. It's the one thing Nathan Oakley hates to admit that he's wrong about: gas pressure without a container.
Hello, everybody.
That,
welcome to Blue Marble Science. We've got your gas pressure without a container. It's right down there. See? There it is. We keep hearing this over and over and over again. You can't have gas pressure without a container. At least according to Nathan Oakley, Quantum Eraser, Anthony Riley, and I guess pretty much every other flat earther out there. But you know what? They're wrong. It's really simple. Flat earthers can't afford to have gravity become a real thing, because if that ever happens, most of their argument just flies out the window. They can't have gravity be responsible for retaining our atmosphere. They just can't have it. What we ended up with was an incline manometer, a 4-foot piece of pipe that we could fill with butane and measure the gas pressure without a top on the pipe. So gas pressure without a container. Right on it. Now let's raise this pipe up to the point where we're at about 12 inches. More or less like that. Now you can see that the manometer is reading about 1.1 I'll call that 1.5 or 0.015. Let me get 0. There you have it. A pressure gradient, gas pressure, and in an open container. But it all matched very closely with what we had predicted. But again, we only had a 3-foot column or 38-inch column of gas to measure. So next, we're going to go outside and do some tests with some taller pipes. Well, it's been well over 3 hours now. Our gas pressure is still sitting here quite happily. You'll notice a slight variation from time to time. The wind is blowing a bit, but it's exactly where we left it for all intent. Well, let's talk about results. Obviously, this test was not done under highly controlled laboratory conditions. If it would have been done for the specific purpose of trying to get actual, very accurate numbers, we would have been taking data on barometric pressure, temperature, moisture, humidity, et cetera, et cetera. But that's not what we were trying to show. What we were trying to show is the fact that the contention that some flat earthers have that you cannot have a gas pressure without a container is just total nonsense. So, for a 3-foot effective pipe length, we expected 0.045 and we got it. We expected 0.195 at 13 feet. It was a little bit high, 0.22. We expected 0.345 at 23 feet. Came out pretty close. So, for a more or less qualitative sort of experiment, this shows exactly what we wanted it to show. Now, are you ready for some truths? Gas pressure can easily exist without a container. That is not a question. It produces a pressure gradient exactly like we see in our atmosphere. The pressure and the pressure gradient are being produced by gravity, fellas. That's what's doing it. An empty space is not only possible, it is simply undeniable. Our atmosphere vanishes slowly as you increase in altitude, eventually becoming that vast vacuum of space that's out there. So the next time a flat earther tries to tell you pressure can't exist without a container, just tell him this. So Gladys, you think we convinced them? Yeah, I think it'll happen about the time that happens. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Oh man, I love that video. That was one of my favorite videos that you've done. And I think what gets me the most is that these flirts, they just can't seem to understand the concept of gravity being the container.
That's the issue they have and have had since the beginning. And you know, before I did this, they actually had it right. They would say you can't have gas pressure without a container, and it better be a sealed container or the gas will escape. Well, they quickly, as soon as I did this video, they quickly dropped that it better be a sealed container part of it.
Yeah, but they still keep arguing the question, though, don't they?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, now they've switched it to this. They say, and they you talk about they use the phrase whistling past the graveyard, right? And now what they say is the necessary antecedent of a container. You can't have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container, which is just nonsense. Containers don't cause gas pressure. That's not the cause of gas pressure. The gas itself is what causes gas pressure. The collision of the gas molecules with a surface, whether it's the inside of a sealed container or the outside of it sitting here in our atmosphere, which is under atmospheric pressure. That's the cause of gas pressure, not the damn container.
You can kind of see that in the results where the wind was causing a little bit of a shift in those results.
Yeah, absolutely. That happens when you have an open pipe like that, or an open vessel like that. Wind blowing across the top of it, you get slight negative pressure up there.
Yeah,
negative
exactly.
with respect to what's inside the pipe.
And your results elegantly show that.
Yeah. I thought it was I really thought it was a very simple demonstration of something that just absolutely could not be true if gravity was not the cause of it. There would be nothing to keep that gas in that pipe. Nothing. It's absolutely open. Yeah, it would simply have to just go everywhere. If it were only just some you've got to have a force to keep it in there.
Yeah, and that's gravity.
You betcha.
It can't be anything else.
That one video has driven those guys crazy, and they yell at me to this day that I'm misrepresenting. I'm lying about it. The pipe is a container. Well, now you're into the semantics of it. Okay. Is the pipe a container? Well, for some things, I think I did a video where I did this, where I took a kitchen strainer, one of those wire things, and sure, if you want to throw apples in it, it's a good container for apples or marbles or anything like that. Is that thing a container for salt? Nope.
Nope.
Salt goes right through all over the tabletop, doesn't it? Same thing with the pipe. I mean, it's a perfect open pipe like that. You could say is a container if you wanted just to carry around a little bit of water or some sand or something like that. For gas, hell no. I'll tell you what. Take that open pipe down to the local store that refills your propane cylinders and ask them to fill it up full of propane for you.
I don't think that'll happen.
Nope. So,
awesome.
So, but I'm not. But I refuse to back off on this nonsense argument of theirs about a container. A container for gas pressure has to be sealed. It cannot be open. A bucket is not a container for gas pressure. No. Poke a hole in the side of your tire and see how much air pressure you can hold in your tire. It doesn't work. It's got to be sealed. So, and none of the gas laws work either. The minute you take the top off, how do you define what's the volume now? Yeah. It just became infinite.
And that's the crux of it, really. They're confusing or conflating all of it as being gas pressure. They just won't see the difference between gas pressure and atmospheric pressure.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah. So, Amy, do we have any questions from the side chat on this video?
We actually do. We have a few questions and comments in here. The first one from Dick Dawson is, how does Blue's Donkey like its flurf served, boiled or fried? Terry Davies said, Blue has taught me a lot, even about balls. Dick Dawson says, gave us a super chat for Canadian $5. He said, how did Gladys like the taste of that guy going down? I'm guessing the head was empty calories. Crap Tequila has a great question too. What's the story behind creating the facepalm warning? And then Peter Quinn said you shouldn't work with kids or animals. So there we go.
I have to agree with Peter. The face palm warning. I have no idea. I don't know. It's not like any of this stuff is planned. It just happens. That wild idea came to me for some reason or the other. I thought about, well, people always talked about the face palms and punching their monitors and stuff like that. And I thought, well, we could roll all that into just one simple upfront. You guys better be careful. This is going to get stupid. Warning. And I've just carried it on. I don't know. People seem to enjoy it. So.
Absolutely. And I love Gladys. That's so funny. Oh, I love that.
Well, if you're going to talk about jackasses, you may as well have one around, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Boole, what do you think of this video?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I've always wondered, what would you put a heavier than air gas in there? Like, I was thinking, the hexafluoride, but butane works. So,
yeah, it's readily available. That's the other thing.
Butane's a lot easier to get a hold of than sulfur hexafluoride. So,
precisely. Would have gotten a bigger pressure reading with sulfur hexafluoride, but that was good enough. It shows what we wanted to show, that gas will still stay in that pipe, and there'll still be a pressure in it. You're effectively reading a mirror of the atmospheric pressure.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. Before we move on, I just want to remind everybody in the chat, the videos that we're watching tonight are all edited. They've been shortened in the interest of saving time. So I do highly encourage all of you to head on over to Blue's channel and check the full-length videos out. They're awesome. And while you're there, hit that subscribe button, give them a like or two, and don't forget to tickle that bell. So with that, let's see if I've got some more questions for you. Okay, something a little bit more personal. What is it that Blue likes to do when he's not on YouTube? What's your favorite thing to do?
Well, when I'm not wasting my time watching ridiculous reruns on Netflix or television, you'll usually find me out in the shop piddling around with some woodworking project or the other. That's the hobby I like the most, I think.
Cool. Has it always been a hobby, or was that actually part of your work before you retired?
It's always been more or less a hobby of mine. I mean, I've been butchering wood, I guess is the best way to say it. I've been doing that since I was a kid, off and on, but mostly, nothing fancy. Just build the occasional thing. And for a time period before the housing market crashed in the U.S., I built houses on the side.
Oh, that's awesome! I didn't know that.
And I enjoyed. I've always enjoyed the woodworking. That's carpentry. That's not woodworking, but I had a lot of fun framing those things. I used to I do the framing of the houses I sold with my own crew, but I had gotten away from that. And when as it got closer to time to retire, I thought maybe I really had always wanted to learn a better breed, better brand of woodworking. Actually get into furniture making type quality, which is a thing wholly apart from any other sort of just fundamental carpentry. Yes, and so I started. I took a bunch of steps back and said, okay, now I'm going to learn how to do this the right way. And it's a process, but it's just enjoyable to me. It's relaxing. I have a lot of fun doing it, and I love the old tools. I think it's a craft that could easily become lost. It's so simple nowadays with machines to do everything. Yeah. And you'll notice that a lot of what I do doesn't have anything to do with machinery. I use the machines just to make the workload. I don't need to learn a lot more about the use of a crosscutter or a rip saw, although I still use them from time to time. So I let the
Yeah.
machines do a lot of the heavy lifting for me. But
Mhm.
at the end of the day, as far as the joinery goes, that's all hand done. And I love doing it.
Yeah, you can tell because the quality of the work that I've been seeing on your Cavendish is unbelievable. The dovetailing is beautiful work.
Well, that's done the way you would do. Well, it's the way you make furniture.
How long did it take you to do that?
Oh, the Cavendish box itself.
Yeah,
Uh,
like the dovetail joints and that. That must have taken a long time.
well, one of those dovetail joints takes me probably half an hour to an hour, somewhere in there. It's not that hard to do. It really isn't.
Cool. So your background is primarily the engineering then.
Yeah, actually, training wise, electrical engineering, but
Mhm.
I went to work for an air pollution company and did that my entire professional life. And the first part of it, I did electrical engineering work, but I got more into the process engineering side of it and the sales end of it as time went on. So I don't know. I've got kind of a strange background in a way.
I guess we all do to some extent, eh?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think at this point I'd like to move on to the next video and kind of tout you as our community hero. For those of you who are not aware, this man right here made that guy, the most annoying flatty on the friggin' planet, disappear. An awesome feat, and we thank you for it. And let's have a look at one of those videos. It's called That Guy's an Idiot. Who?
Just tie a knot in it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Blue Marble Science. I'll tell you what, let's do this one more time. It is that guy, an extraordinary idiot. Warning, severe facial and monitor damage alert is in effect. Get out the oven mitts. Push the monitors back out of punching range. And Gladys, let's light this dumpster fire and have a lot of fun.
Buddy, that guy again. Just here to, clarify the confusion that I've been seeing in the comment threads. Blue Marble Science seems to believe I filmed a moon that's like 50% or something. He's just making shit up. Again. Hey guys, watch this. See that? December 8th, 2019, correct? See how large the moon is, correct? Watch this. What do we have here? Timeanddate.com, 2019, December. Daytona Beach. Blue Marble, I'm not in Tampa, you jackass. Daytona Beach, east coast of Florida. Not the west coast like you believe somehow, because of your insufferable cognitive dissonance, once again. So, December 8th. Whoa, 90% full.
Hey, jackass, I didn't know you lived in Daytona. So I fixed it. Daytona Beach. You happy now? Back to Stellarium. There's the moon. There's the sun. Right now I have the time and date set for the 8th of December, 2019 at 4:30 in the afternoon, because I think that's about when you shot your video. Let's confirm moonrise. Let's go back to 3:17. And the moon just disappears. 3:17. Moon comes back up. Yes, exactly what you saw on the software you pulled up. But that's not when you took the picture. You took the video, I think, at about 4:30. So at 4:30, What was the moon doing? Well, the moon had an illumination of 88.9%. It was about 14 and a half degrees above the horizon. The sun is, almost exactly 10 degrees above the horizon. Looks exactly like your picture, pal. Now let's take a closer look at the moon. Let's zoom in here a little bit. Think that looks like the moon you saw in your video? It looks exactly like the moon you saw in your video.
Wally's dumbass do his demonstration. He's got his moon in about a 70% full orientation. He's about 135 degrees around the Earth. And when I say 135 degrees, let me clarify for the people who don't understand. If that's the Earth in the middle, and the sun is here at 0 degrees, that would be a full moon directly across from the sun at 180 degrees. 90% full is 10% shy of full, correct? If it goes from new moon to full moon in 180 degrees, 10% of 180 is 18 degrees. 18 minus 180 is 172 degrees. The moon I filmed would be 172 degrees, somewhere around here, relative to the Earth and the sun.
What? You can't do it like that, Einstein. It is not a linear function. But even if it was, how in the hell did you take 180, subtract 18 from it, and end up with 172? Wrong.
You guys following? This is just basic arithmetic. 170 is here. Okay? 530 would be here. Just as Wally showed you, when his moon was out here, you can't see the moon until the sun's setting. And that's for a 70% moon. A 90% moon would rise even later because it's further behind your Earth. What happens if it's later than sunset? Is the sun above the goddamn horizon?
Yes, the sun and the moon are most definitely above the horizon. It works just like this. Let's go back to AutoCAD one more time. This time it's drawn completely to scale. The Earth here in the center, the moon in the position that you were observing it is right here. This magenta line is tangent to the Earth at a point that's about an hour from sunset. That's about where you were. This portion of the Earth is illuminated. I put the moon 14 and a half degrees above the horizon. That's the magenta line that is tangent to the horizon, rotated 14 and a half degrees. This is the moon you saw. Now this entire half of the moon, left of the center line there, is illuminated, but clearly you can't see this part. From your point of view, you can see from this point all the way around to that point. Only you don't see this because it is not being lit by the sun. The sunlight stops at that point. This is the 90% of the moon that you saw illuminated. How can you screw this up this bad?
You didn't film a fucking full moon. You're 3 days before full. That's like 30%. Now you've seen it. What now? 90% isn't at 172 degrees? You can have the sun and the moon, which would be over 11 o'clock p.m. relative to Earth. Can you see the sun when it's an 11 o'clock p.m.? Then why do you think you can see the moon and the sun together? Still. If you can't understand how this doesn't coincide with your model, you need to punch yourself in the face repeatedly until you do. This is basic 5th grade shit. Yeah, model that shit. Too bad Wally's already tried and proven it's impossible. Just waiting for you guys to understand basic geometry still. Till next time, start thinking.
Oh man, that must be painful for you to do.
That's some of the best derp you'll hear around, I think.
Oh man, the Dunning-Kruger was legendary.
Oh yes, absolutely. And it kept going beyond that. I mean, I think he put out at least another video or so before he finally decided to toss in the towel.
How many total videos were there before you finally drove him off?
Oh, I don't remember now. 4 maybe.
Haven't heard from him since, though.
Well, actually, he is back somewhere. I ran across him somewhere, and engaged in a little back and forth on somebody's stream, just in the chat. And I left, and 15 minutes later, they told me he was still over there yelling at me, not realizing I was gone. But that makes sense. I don't think he knows where he is half the time.
That's hilarious. I didn't know he had come back. Damn. But yeah. There's a new one out there though. What's his name? Twitsit doesn't gets it.
Oh yeah, Twitsit.
Yeah, he's really taking up the vacuum, huh?
He's a well-spoken that guy.
Yeah, exactly. Twitsit don't gets it. Yeah, unbelievable. Hey, Amy, have we got any comments or questions on this video?
We do have some good comments. Crafty Keela asks, besides Cavendish, what is the piece of your own work that you're most proud of, Blue?
Oh, I don't know, probably a toy chest I made for my grandson or something like that. I don't know. I've made a lot of stuff. Mostly, I've made a lot of furniture pieces for my kids and family members and stuff. And I don't know. I don't really have any favorites. They're all whichever one I finish last is my favorite one.
There you go. And then Mario Rui asks, when did your passion of flying start?
Oh, when I was a kid. My dad was involved in the aerospace business, so I sort of grew up around that.
That's awesome.
And I don't know, it was just always fascinating to me. And I figured that at some point I just had to learn how to fly, and I did, and always enjoyed it. I don't do it anymore. Just don't have. It's too damn expensive, and I've got more than enough hours under my belt now. But I keep thinking about it. I don't know. One of these days, maybe I'll get back into it. Who knows?
That's cool. My husband used to fly too. It was awesome. Chris Durham had a really cool comment. He says, "I love that Blue uses the word nitwit. That word needs to be used more." And then Dick Dawson has a question for you too. He goes, "Have you ever made a guitar or any other musical instrument?"
I have not, but that was one of the things that my father was into when he retired. He enjoyed building violins, which if you're from where we're from, we don't call them violins, they're fiddles, right? Which is just a distinction in the way you play it, the music you play on it. Everybody knows about fiddle music, but Dad was really good at that. And I've got 4 or 5 of his creations still sitting around in the corner. I never did learn how to play one of those damn things. Dad tried to convince me to. He was great. I mean, he was really a good musician. I stuck to the banjo and the guitar, but Dad was good. It was a good fiddle player, old, mountain music type fiddle music.
Oh, that's awesome.
Do you play?
Hmm?
Do you play?
Very little anymore, but yeah, in part of my misspent youth, for about 10 years, I played in a bluegrass band.
Ooh.
I liked I was the banjo player, but I can play. I actually play some rhythm guitar. I'm not very good flat picking on a guitar, and I can thump around on play chords on a mandolin and stuff like that. You put a fiddle in my hands, and it sounds like somebody's killing a cat.
Oh, there's a lot of people who would say that. I'm probably the same. I am so uncoordinated when it comes to musical instruments. I tried a few times, but I just can't get the hang of it. I just don't have it in me.
All I could ever do is just, I can't imagine what I was doing to the other people around me, but I was annoying the living crap out of myself anytime I picked up that damn fiddle.
Well, from what I understand, Dick Dawson is an awesome player. You two should trade stories sometimes.
Definitely.
Absolutely. So do we have any more tonight, chat?
Just basic trigonometry is just confirming that Blue is badass on banjo. That's what he said. So.
Awesome. So, Boole, what's your take on that guy?
Oh, that guy. Oh man, I hear people like that, and he talks about it being basic 5th grade stuff, but the problem is he failed basic 5th grade stuff, obviously, because yes, I learned that in 5th grade, and I learned how the moon works in 5th grade. So, like, what is so hard about the fact that the moon is far enough away that the Earth isn't always blocking it, and the fact that its orbit is at an angle to the ecliptic means that it's not always going to get eclipsed by the Earth either. So obviously you'll be able to see it during the daylight sometimes because it's not rotating with the Earth exactly.
I've seen it often myself. Nothing special about it. It's just the way the world works.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, before we well, go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, it's not magic. It just works like that. And
Exactly.
if you stop drawing goofy little sketches on a grease board and actually sit down and look at it to scale, you'll see why it does what it does. But that's a hard thing to do for most people, and because the scale is so out of whack, when you literally look at you quickly, when you try to draw the solar system to scale, you quickly figure out why it is they never draw the damn thing to scale. The sun is a little bitty dot way over on the left-hand side of the page, and the Earth and the moon can't even be seen all the way over on the other side of the page. It's the distances just confuse everybody. I think they can't they can't appreciate the vastness of the very small neighborhood we live in on in terms of the size of the universe. God, we're in a tiny little part of it, and it's still enormous.
Exactly. I think that's the Achilles heel of all the flirts. They just don't grasp scale at all.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. You can't understand properly understand how an eclipse works. You can't even begin to appreciate exactly how the solar eclipse can only be a little tiny umbra of 70 miles in diameter, unless you draw the thing to scale, and then it becomes clear what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, before we move on to the next video, I'm sure that quite a few of our viewers would like to get a bit of an update on how things are going with your Cavendish.
Well, actually, I'm getting ready now to, and I'll probably start later this afternoon building the framework that supports the large masses. The actual enclosure itself, the experiment, the funny looking enclosure that Cavendish constructed, which was done, by the way, just to minimize the volume that the thing encompassed. Because the less volume you have, the less air you have in it, and the less chance you have of air currents. And these torsion balances are so sensitive. I mean, the slightest amount of air movement is going to cause that thing to oscillate. So, but that part of the experiment is constructed. I've run a few tests on the wire itself, torsion wire, the torsion beam, just outside the enclosure to get an idea of how it's going to behave. So I think I've got that all pretty straight. Now the next mission is to put the big frame together so that we can support those large masses, which are on the way, by the way. They'll be here Monday.
Awesome.
Got a pair of 50-pound lead balls. I've named one of them Big, and the other one is Blue. So that's the name of the big balls, Big and Blue. And the little bitty balls, of course, are going to be named Q and E. That seemed only fair to me.
Yeah, I think we should take this opportunity to thank all the members and patrons who donated to this project. You're making it possible for Blue to educate us all, and it's greatly appreciated.
Oh, you bet. My thanks goes out to everybody who's been kind enough to support this. It wouldn't be happening. I don't know that I would spend that much money out of my pocket to do this. I probably would have if I had to, but it's been so helpful to have people support it the way they have. And shortly I may be asking folks if they have an extra camera that I can borrow, when we're doing the test or something like that, to let me know, because you can't have enough video of this stuff. I got it pretty well covered, I think, but there'd be a few extra things like that maybe somebody's got an old camera that still works that I could use for a month or two.
There you go. Anybody in the chat, if you got a camera you can help Blue out with, get in touch with them. Let's make it happen. Awesome. So, what was the biggest challenge so far you've had building the Cavendish?
Oh, just trying to find the time to get to it. Try to keep. I'm trying to keep the content going on my channel. Can't just walk away from everything, and do nothing but Cavendish. Although I wish I could, it'd be a lot of fun. But I find that a good bit of my time gets spent trying to keep everybody informed of what's going on, and then the other things, the other channel content, and well, it's just a more time constraints than anything. As far as the work itself goes, there's nothing really hard about this. It's pretty straightforward. I don't know exactly how Cavendish had his enclosure built. Who knows? I just would imagine, knowing that time frame and the way people thought, that he would have, his guys, whoever did it, would have done something similar to what I've done. I would imagine it's not very much different, but that's very standard carpet, very standard woodworking joinery. There's nothing unusual about it.
Well, we're all looking forward to it. We're all looking forward to seeing it finished and running. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait.
Oh yeah, and they'll come up. The opposition will come up with 18 different reasons for why that's not really mass attracting mass, but okay.
They will. And the first one that's probably going to be doing it is the subject of our last video. Good old Mr. Defoe himself, Riley.
Good.
What a moron.
You
And
bet.
it would be fun to have a look at one of your videos you did that I particularly enjoyed. It's called the Riley Postulate. So let's run that bull and take it from there.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Blue Marble Science. The Riley Postulate. Never calculate that which you can simply guess at, especially if you don't know how to calculate anything. Anthony, the 2020 Dumb Fellow of the Year for a reason. Warning, severe facial and monitor damage alert is in effect. Get out those oven mitts, push the monitors way back out of punching range, and let's light this dumpster fire and have some fun. Ruhiff did an analysis of this photograph. What you're seeing is the Blackpool Tower about 51 kilometers away and Red Screws Mountain about 125 kilometers away. Notice that the observation platform at Blackpool looks to be at the same elevation as the peak of Red Screws. Well, our friend Anthony says Ruhiff got this all wrong. Anthony says Ruhiff doesn't know how to calculate these things properly. Anthony says, well, I'll tell you what, let's just listen to what Anthony says.
Oh my God, Ruhiff, you don't know what to do here at all. You don't know your maths, you don't know anything about refraction. And here you are talking as though you're some kind of authority, and you're clearly wrong. That if the Earth was flat, this would be how big the tower would need to be.
Yep, something like that.
And you can tell straight away that this is clearly wrong. He's clearly done something wrong in his maths.
So you can just look at a picture and tell there's something wrong with the math, huh? Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Oh my God. Ruhiff, did you not think that your maths might be a little bit out when you got this result? It's clearly wrong, okay?
Clearly wrong, huh? I'm not sure I'd hang my hat on that one, Sleeping Warrior. You know, because from where I'm sitting, it certainly seems like there's an awful lot of that mountain missing. I mean, you know, just saying.
77.6, so let's change that. Wouldn't want to add an extra quarter of a mile, would we?
78 minus 77.6 is 0.4. Yeah, that sounds like about a quarter, huh?
77.6 miles. Okay, so on the Earth curve calculator, because Ruhiff thinks that light travels in a curved trajectory, even though Fermat states clearly that light is straight. It varies from point to point to point along the path of the least amount of time from point A to point B. It doesn't follow a curve. A curve's not the shortest possible time, is it? So we know that we're only supposed to see 400 feet of the top of the mountain. Do you think that you're looking at 400 feet for the top of the mountain that's 77 miles away?
No, that's not what we think you should see, Anthony. Taking standard refraction into account, you should see about 900 feet of the top of that mountain. Just exactly like the picture shows. But that's not even the point I want to try to make. We'll get there in a minute.
If Ruhiff knew anything about refraction, he'd be able to do a little bit of jiggery-pokery and put that up and down a little bit. If Ruhiff knew anything about refraction, he'd be able to do a little bit of jiggery-pokery and put that up and down a little bit. If Ruhiff knew anything about refraction, he'd be able to do a little bit of jiggery-pokery and put that up and down a little bit.
Pretending refraction doesn't exist, like you're doing right now, would seem to be a little bit of jiggery-pokery, Anthony. And you seem to be pretty good at it.
What kind of people are we dealing with that think this is anything like acceptable? It's just ridiculous.
Anthony, if we gave you a map, a week's rations, and a spare paddle, do you think you'd be able to find your own ass?
Ernest! My ass!
I'm not even sure that would work for you, Anthony. All right, pay attention. The observer height was 91 meters. Blackpool Tower is 51.7 kilometers away. The height of Blackpool Tower is 128 meters. The observation deck at Blackpool is 37 meters higher than the observer. Now, this is an interesting thing about geometry, Anthony. You don't really need to know any math to speak of to do this. If we wanted to extend this to a further distance, let's say 125 kilometers, like that mountain, these are similar triangles. That means we can ratio the length of each of the sides. It's quite simple. All we need to do is take 37 meters times the ratio of the distances. In other words, 125 kilometers divided by 51.7 kilometers. And you'll see that the mountain should be 89.5 meters above the height of the observer. If the Blackpool Tower is 37 meters above the observer at 51.7 kilometers, and if the peak of Red Screes appears to be at the same elevation at a distance of 125 kilometers, Red Screes must have a height of 176.5 meters. That's the 91 meters of the observer height plus the 89.5 meters we calculated below. That's what you should see. But there's a problem, Anthony, because that's what reality is. That mountain is 746 meters, not 176 meters. Somehow, some way, 565.5 meters of that mountain are missing. Flat Earth busted. Riley's brain. What a scary place to be. Dumb of the year for a reason. Hey, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And Anthony, remember, when I say how stupid can you be, that isn't a challenge, that's a question.
That's a great video. I love it. What an idiot. Hey, what an idiot.
Total idiot. But we all know Anthony's prowess when it comes to anything to do with mathematics. And I suppose we shouldn't be too surprised. It just amazes me that he thinks he can simply glance at something and say, oh, you made a math error. Well, how would you know? I mean, Anthony, you can't do any math.
That's obvious, isn't it?
Yeah.
Jeez. Well, Amy, what does the chat have to say?
Yes, we've got a few things for you. Bath People sent us a super chat for €5 and says, just showing support for this channel in general and this show specifically. Basic Trigonometry said, so QE is going to be attracted to Blue's big balls. And then Tusk asked, don't know if Blue has answered this yet, but when he's done with the Cavendish, is he going to sell or donate it to a school or museum? I
certainly hope somebody would like to have it. I'm not going to sell it. I want to donate it to an institution that would, be able to display it, and a university would be great if somebody would like it. Hopefully, we'll figure that out as we go. But it's definitely not going in the fire. We'll find somebody. Or I'll end up sleeping with it or something. I don't know. It's not comfortable to sit on. I'll put it that way. Yeah.
No.
Anything else, Amy?
Nope, that was it. Thank you very much, everybody. Keep the questions coming, please.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your support, everyone. We really do appreciate it. So what do you think, Amy, of our good friend, Mr. Riley?
Oh, my goodness. I think he's right up there with that guy, almost. They're pretty much. Yeah, he definitely got Defoe, and he deserved it. Yeah. Oh my goodness. They're so silly. And yeah, even as bad at math as I am, I can see that they're terrible. Very terrible.
No kidding. And how about anything you want to weigh in on?
Well,
No, I just think it's.
go ahead,
Sorry.
Amy.
I was just going to say it was wonderful about the Cavendish. I'm really excited. I hope that our university does take that. That would be great.
I agree.
Well, I was gonna say, as far as Anthony Riley goes, not only is he the winner of 2020 Defody, he's a two-time loser, and I don't know whether that's good or bad. If you can't win a dumb contest, you're so dumb you can't even win it 2 years running, and you have to wait till your third try just to win. That's pretty bad.
Couldn't have agreed more. Couldn't agree more.
And is jiggery and pokery like uppity and droppity? Just a question.
I think I saw that. That's funny.
Absolutely.
But in that question is there's some insight into the way Riley thinks when he says a thing like that. You'd think, in other words, you'd think Ruhif would cheat a little bit to make it work, and he says things like that because that's what he's willing to do.
Yeah, true enough.
My dad said something years ago, and many years ago, and I think it was spot on. He said, just be careful about what somebody's accusing you of doing, because that's probably what they're doing to you.
Probably.
Yep. And I think Anthony is the living embodiment of that.
Yeah. I just don't understand that guy. How he can just keep on believing he's right about everything when he's been proven wrong so many times, so profoundly.
Oh, they have to know better. You know they have to know better, but it's either a fundamentalist religious belief on their part, or they're trying to make a living at it. Anthony's not apparently trying to make a living at it. I don't see how he makes any money. He's not monetized or anything. Not like Nathan, but
no.
I have heard too that Anthony's father's a preacher of some sort or something. I don't know.
And most of the bigger guys, I think they've got to be posed. They've got to be. Nobody can be that stupid. It's just not possible.
No, of course not.
Well, couple more questions for you, and then we'll wrap this up. First of all, what of all the stupid that we bash on the shills and in our own channels, what's the one claim or conspiracy that gets you the most?
Denying the moon landing, which is a topic I've avoided taking on my channel so far, because I'm afraid once I start, I'm not going to be able to stop. But
yeah,
that one infuriates me beyond all reason. I don't know how people can honestly look back at history. Maybe it's because I lived through it. Maybe it's because I saw all of that stuff with my own two eyes. Maybe things like the trip I made to Cocoa Beach to watch Apollo 11 when it took off had an impression on me when I was 19 years old that has never left me. Maybe it's all of those things, and maybe it's the background I've got in electronics and in radio communications that tells me that it would have been impossible to fake what we were able to receive here on Earth. And knowing things like how badly Russia and China at that time would have wanted to discredit us any way they could have, and they both congratulated us on the achievement. when I think about all those things, and then some dipshit comes along and says, "Oh, we never went to the moon." I'm sorry. No, that's just wrong.
Yeah.
I have to agree with you. I'm the same way. That's the one that really grinds my gears the most because I wasn't old enough to go see it in person, but as an 8-year-old boy, I remember sitting in front of that black and white TV watching every damn launch, and it's such a part of my childhood, the whole space thing. And no, you can't tell me they didn't go. I know for a fact they went.
No, hell, I remember Sputnik and the panic that ensued when we had to come to the realization that the Russians were flying something over the top of our country, and we couldn't do one damn thing about it. That was frightening. At a point in time when we were in a race to see who could build the biggest, baddest nuke device you could think of, and all of a sudden you're not having to worry about just airplanes bringing one of them over here. Hell, they can sit in their backyard, light the fuse on a rocket, and 30 minutes later, some city is going to vanish. That was a scary time, but I'm very fortunate to be the age I am, and having been able to watch everything from Project Mercury through Gemini through Apollo and everything that happened after that. It's just been fascinating to me. And for these shitheads to insinuate that any part of that was in any way faked it just makes me want to choke somebody.
Yeah, I know how you feel. Bull, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, I was just going to add, like, the political time. I guess these people forget, like, wars like the Korean War and the Vietnam War. They don't seem to realize that was the era that the space race took place in. So we were trying to, quote, stem the red tide, as it were, back then. And if, like you said with Sputnik, that's a wake-up call for that kind of the Cold War. And it baffles me that they think anything is fake. It also, another one that gets me is when they deny things like Challenger, because people died getting to space. It wasn't just that it was, there's a lot of money put into it and a fancy show. There was people out there risking their lives to try to stabilize our Cold War, as it were, so that not one person had an advantage of the other, because that was what we had to avoid.
Yeah.
Well, space travel is not a safe thing. It's never been a safe thing to do.
Exactly.
It never will be a safe thing to do. Unfortunately, there'll be other accidents as time goes on. It has to be, no matter what you do. And absolutely, I mean, we lost our first 3 guys on Apollo 1.
Yes, sir. Virgil, Gus Grissom.
Yep.
Oh God, I forgot the other two. Ed White, I think.
Yeah. Was it Chaffee, White, and Grissom?
Yes. Yeah. Chaffee, White, and Grissom. That's right.
Yeah, in a stupid accident that shouldn't have happened when you look back on it. But if you go back to the day before the accident, it made sense. I mean, there didn't seem to be anything wrong. Who the hell knew what happened? Nobody thought to test that stuff in a pure oxygen pressurized environment. It was horrible.
But every astronaut, even today, knows the risk in getting on top of a rocket and getting shot up into space. And they're willing to take that risk for the advancement of all.
Yeah, absolutely.
How can you disrespect that and say they never did it or deny they did it? how can you call? I don't want to get started on that.
Yeah, you could do a whole show on that, and I'll be right there with you, cussing and screaming.
Absolutely. Well, I think maybe we should think about starting to wrap things up. But if you had one thing that you would like to share with the community, especially those who are maybe sitting on the fence about flat Earth or space denial or anything, what would you like to say to them?
Wake up, pay attention. For real, guys. I mean, you begin with your premise that the Earth is flat by denying that space exists, by denying that any of these 30 plus space agencies around the world that routinely launch rockets into low Earth orbit must all be together somehow or the other lying about it. Because if you ever admit that any one of those is actually true, then obviously the Earth isn't flat. So to me, you don't need to look any further than that. Just simply say, gee, I wonder what else could it be? Here's a damn picture of it, for crying out loud. And we've been making those pictures since 1946. Yeah,
long before computer graphics existed.
Way before computer graphics existed. I think the first pictures of Earth curvature came from an old captured V2 rocket that they launched from White Sands or somewhere.
That's right. It was exactly right.
Yeah. So, and that's not CGI. That's a roll of damn 16 millimeter camera film, for crying out loud. I don't understand how anybody could possibly hold the belief that you could have that many millions and who knows how many millions of people that would have to be involved in that sort of conspiracy to everyone keep their mouth shut for the last 75 years. How did that happen? I mean, that's just, you're asking me to believe the impossible.
Yeah. Whereas the conspiracy itself is harder to believe than what you're trying to tell me is not true.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, so I usually end these shows off with just a short little list of quick fire questions, and then we'll go back to the chat and see if there's anything last minute to clean up, and we are done. So, are you ready?
Sure.
Okay, here we go. First quick fire. Imperial or metric?
Actually, I'm bilingual when it comes to that, but I prefer metric personally.
Cool. Return to the moon or Mars?
You got to go back to the moon before you go to Mars. No doubt about that.
Blue Origin, ULS, or SpaceX?
I don't really, I don't have a front runner or a favorite. I like all of them. Go for it, guys. Come on.
Cool. Okay, here's something a little bit more down to earth. Steak or lobster?
Ooh. Can I have both, please? Thank you. Love a steak. If I had to make a choice, I would pick a steak, probably.
Probably, yeah. I think I would too. Beer or bourbon?
Oh, gotta have beer.
Okay. Rock, blues, or country?
Yeah, any one of them. I'm perfectly fine with all of those.
All right. I don't know if you're much of a movie fan, but action, sci-fi, or comedy?
I like comedy. I don't need to be taught lessons. I just need to be entertained.
Cool. All right. And the last three are just some personal questions. First of all, person you would most like to meet?
The person I would most like to meet.
And don't say Trump.
No, probably not Trump. I don't know. Well, I don't have a bucket list. Come to think of it, I need to make a bucket list. What should I do? I don't know. I don't have a good answer. I really don't. I really don't. You know, there's so many things that a person could do. So many things you could focus your attention on. Things that I've never done. That I've never gone mountain climbing. I mean, or I don't think I've ever gone water skiing. You know, you can think about all kinds of things like that and say, "Boy, I wish I would have done that." And I didn't, and it's a little late now to go back and try to capture any of it. I don't know. I wish I had a better answer for you, but I really don't.
You know, that's a good, honest answer. And I don't know if I could come up with 3 things to top a bucket list. Because like you, I don't really have a bucket list. Never really thought of it. All right, so let's go take one more look at the chat. Amy, do you have any last questions or comments you want to bring up?
Sure, we have a couple comments. Peter Quinn says, well, I heard NASA approached Stanley Kubrick to film the moon landing, but he wanted to do it on location. And then Bath People said, be careful getting off the fence if you don't believe in gravity, which is a good point. And Crafty Keela said, we didn't hear Blue saying that she was the person that he wanted to meet.
All right, and Amy, do you have any final questions for Blue?
Nope, I just want to say thank you for doing such great content, and I'm honored to know you, and we've had such a great time. I've learned so much from you, and I think it's great.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to talk with you guys, and especially you, Amy. I really appreciate all the hard work you put in. Well, everybody.
Not just absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah, we have a good time with this. Thank you.
Amy is a true godsend, I must say. A true godsend.
Bool,
do you have any final comments or questions for Blue?
No, my only comment to Blue would be keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great, and I am really looking forward to that Cavendish experiment on your channel when it's done and it's running and it shows, hey, yes, mass attracts mass. So
awesome. And Blue, do you have any final things you'd like to share?
I just want to thank you guys for inviting me here. Hopefully you'll be able to improve your guest selections in the future.
No, I don't think
there's lots of interesting characters out there. There really are. And I love this community. I really do. There's some really solid people that have shown up, especially the guys that I've met in the last year and a half. I'm thoroughly impressed with the amount of knowledge that there is out there. Now, if we could just get the damn flat earthers to listen to us, but they're not gonna. So
yeah, exactly. Well, at least we can educate some new ones who might be thinking of going that direction.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, with that, I just want to say thank you, Amy, for all the help tonight. It was really great having you on board. Bool, same thing. Thanks for keeping us ticking along and keeping the show going. And Blue, thank you for coming out. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and I hope we can have you on again in the future to do a then and now. How's that sound?
It'd be my pleasure.
Awesome. And for all of you out there watching, thanks for joining us tonight. It's been real fun. Don't forget, head on over to Blue's channel. Check out his videos. Just go to the bottom of the list, click that first one, and hit binge, and just go for it. You'll enjoy it. Trust me, you really will. And while you're there, give him a sub, tickle that bell, and if you can help out with his Cavendish at all, please consider doing so. As far as myself, you can always check out my channel, Steaming Cup of Reason, where I will be rebroadcasting this show next week. And the last one with Dead Kennedy in Space will be going up this weekend if you missed it, so you can catch it there. Other than that, thanks for coming out, and we'll see you again on the Mega Mirror Live.